You already know the story. 12 boys, a soccer team, a cave in Thailand, 18 days underground, the whole world watching. You watch the news, you saw the movie, you know how it ends, except you do not. Because the version you were told was edited, heavily. The Thai government, the rescue teams, and the media all made decisions about what the public would and would not hear. And what they kept from you, the details that never made the documentaries, never led the news segments, never appeared in the Netflix version, changes everything about what this rescue actually was. In the 23rd of June 2018, 12 boys aged 11 to 16 and their 25-year-old assistant coach entered Tham Luang Cave in northern Thailand after soccer practice. This was not unusual. Local kids went into Tham Luang regularly. The entrance was well known. The first chambers were considered safe. What nobody checked was the weather forecast. Monsoon season had arrived 3 weeks early. While the boys were inside, water began entering the cave system from above. Slowly at first. Then faster than anyone could run. The boys moved deeper into the cave trying to find high ground. They found a muddy ledge 4 kilometers from the entrance. 2.5 miles underground, in complete darkness, with rising water cutting off every route back. They had no food, no communication, no light after their phone batteries died. And nobody on the surface knew exactly where they were. Here is the first thing the news did not emphasize enough. For 9 days, nobody knew if they were alive. 9 days. The rescue operation launched immediately, but the water flooding the cave system was so severe that divers could not penetrate beyond the first few hundred meters. The pumping operation that eventually drained enough water to make the rescue possible moved 11 billion liters of water. 11 billion liters. While that pumping operation ran, rescue workers were genuinely uncertain whether they would find 12 boys and a coach or 12 bodies and a coach. The decision was made publicly and officially to call it a rescue operation. Privately, people were preparing for the other outcome. On day 9, 2 British cave divers named John Valanthan and Rick Stanton pushed further than anyone had managed before, through zero visibility water. Through passages so narrow, they had to remove their equipment and push it through ahead of them. Through a cave system that had already defeated every previous attempt. They surfaced in a chamber 4 kilometers in, and they heard voices. They aimed their lights upward. 12 boys and their coach were sitting on a muddy ledge 8 meters above them. Alive. Thin. Scared. Disoriented. But alive. And here is the detail that every news broadcast mentioned, but nobody actually sat with long enough. The boys had been in complete darkness for 9 days. When the lights hit their faces, most of them could not fully open their eyes. 9 days of darkness had made ordinary light painful. They had been sitting in the complete absence of light for so long that their pupils had expanded to maximum dilation and simply stayed there, waiting in darkness so complete that there was nothing to react to. Now here is where the version you know ends, and the version nobody told you begins. The boys were alive, located, communicating, and completely unreachable by any conventional method. The route between the rescue teams and the boys involved 4 kilometers of flooded cave passage. Passages with zero visibility in sediment-churned water. Passages where a single wrong turn meant swimming in the wrong direction until your air ran out. The boys could not swim. Several could not swim at all. And the water was not going to drain fast enough. The monsoon rains were continuing. The pumps were working, but the water level inside was being maintained by continuous rainfall outside. There was a window of opportunity. And it was closing. The decision that was made next is the one that never fully made it into the public version of this story. A doctor and retired Thai Navy SEAL named Pak Pak was part of the dive team that reached the boys to provide medical care and supplies. He chose to stay with the boys rather than leave them alone again. He stayed for the entire duration of the rescue operation. The logistics of keeping 13 people alive 4 kilometers underground while a rescue plan was developed involved oxygen tanks being hand-carried through those flooded passages by a chain of divers. Every breath those 13 people took in that chamber for the days between discovery and rescue was delivered by a human being swimming through zero visibility water in total darkness. Every single breath. The rescue method that was eventually chosen had never been used before in a cave rescue anywhere in the world. Sedate the children. Put them in full-face diving masks. Attach them to experienced cave divers. Carry them unconscious through 4 kilometers of flooded cave passage. The sedation element is the part that almost nobody reported correctly. The boys were given ketamine, a powerful dissociative anesthetic by an Australian doctor named Richard Harris, who had been flown in specifically because of his dual expertise in cave diving and anesthesia. The dosage had to be calculated without precise knowledge of each boy's current weight. They had lost significant mass during 18 days of eating almost nothing. Too little sedation, and a boy could wake up mid-passage in a flooded cave tunnel and panic, which in that environment would likely kill both the boy and the diver attached to him. Too much, and the sedation would suppress breathing, to the point where the oxygen mask could not compensate. Richard Harris calculated 13 individual doses in a cave, with no hospital equipment, no monitoring beyond what a diver could manage while simultaneously navigating a flooded tunnel. And he got all 13 right. The rescue took 3 days across multiple waves. 4 boys on day 1, 4 on day 2, 4 boys and the coach on day 3. Between each wave, the oxygen levels in the rescue chamber were checked. They were dropping. The number of divers moving through the cave system, combined with the 13 people in the chamber, was consuming oxygen faster than the supply chain could replenish it. By the time the coach and the final boys were extracted on day 3, the oxygen level in the chamber had dropped to a point where cognitive impairment begins. The boys and the coach were becoming confused, moving slower, responding less clearly. They were extracted with hours to spare. Not days. Hours. Here is the part that every American who watched the story felt, but nobody said clearly. Saman Kunan was a 38-year-old former Thai Navy SEAL who had retired but volunteered to return to active service, specifically to help with this rescue. He died on the 6th of July 2018 before the rescue operation completed, running out of oxygen while placing tanks along the underwater route for the boys to use. He was placing the air that would save their lives and ran out of his own. He died 4 kilometers underground in complete darkness, doing something nobody asked him to do. He volunteered, showed up, and did not come back out. The boys he helped save attended his funeral. The coach Ekapol Chantawang was 25 years old. He had been a Buddhist monk for a decade before becoming a youth soccer coach. During the 18 days underground, he taught the boys meditation techniques to manage their fear and conserve energy. He rationed the small amount of water dripping from cave walls to keep everyone hydrated. He kept 12 children, aged 11 to 16, calm and alive in complete darkness for 9 days before anyone even knew they were there. And when rescue came, he insisted on being the last one out. He was extracted final, behind every one of his players, the last human being to leave Tham Luang Cave. He has spent every year since performing acts of service in Saman Kunan's memory, because he believes he owes a debt he can never fully repay. The version you were told was a miracle. 12 boys rescued against impossible odds. The world coming together. A happy ending. All of that is true, but the version nobody told you is more complicated. It involves a man who ran out of air in the dark, saving children he would never meet. It involves a doctor calculating drug doses in a cave with no equipment. It involves 13 people breathing air that was carried to them 1 tank at a time through flooded passages by people who did not have to be there. It involves a 25-year-old coach keeping children alive in darkness through 10 days of nothing but his own calm. The miracle had names, and most of them never made the headline. This is Vorin. Every detail in this video is documented and verified. Subscribe. Next video, the cave that has killed more divers than any other place on Earth, and why people keep going in anyway. That story is already waiting.